Hello, everybody. Thank you so much to everybody who is joining live today. And thank you to everybody who is watching the replay. Happy Wednesday. I'm excited to be back with you in a familiar background. I am back in New York now. So this is where we'll be for at least the foreseeable future. Let me know down in the comments, what are you drinking today while we're hanging out? I am still trying to finish up my water. Definitely behind a little bit today, which is weird because I'm very dehydrated because I shed a lot of tears earlier today. I've never felt so emotional watching anything. It just was an insane feeling. It was amazing. Just women everywhere, for little girls everywhere, just to see history being made, and for all of the women who will now be raised in a country not knowing any different. So just I'm very emotional today, but I'm really excited to chat with y'all. We've got lots of water, coffee. Oh my gosh, Michelle, I feel like it's a little late for coffee. I would never go to bed. Oh, Hannah, you're drinking coffee too. Oh my gosh, Melissa, that sounds delicious. A beer to celebrate. Happy Inauguration Day, everybody. If you are not in the US, happy Wednesday. It's not a big day for you. All right, let's get going. What questions do you have for me? I do have some questions slated as well, just in case we need them, because I asked on Instagram if anybody had any questions who isn't able to join live, and I had a couple great submissions. So I have those ready to go just in case if we need them. But I am here to answer any questions for those of you that are hanging out live. Coffee you forgot about, Bailey. Oh my gosh. That's the worst. I'm assuming it's cold now. I don't necessarily like that, like in between. It used to be hot and now it's cold. I either need it to be hot or I need it to be iced. And I know that that's like super, I don't have kids, so that's not as something I'm probably gonna have to get over at some point. Yes, I am back in New York, Lisa. Once it gets warmer, maybe we can go to the park. Oh, Melissa, what do you think of the Tattooist of Auschwitz? I just started it. I like, what's so funny, I posted a picture of it on Monday and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, what are you thinking?" And I'm like, I literally just turned to page 1. But so far so good. I read it 2 nights now and I'm loving it so far. I learned there's also a sequel, so I went ahead and put the sequel on hold at the library so that hopefully by the time I finish this one, the sequel will be ready for me to pick up. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate for all the other books that I have to read. Candace, have I looked at the Celebration collection? A little bit. It arrived earlier today and I've been working and then setting up for this and getting ready. So not super in detail. I did flip through it quickly because I had to. But it is a beautiful product always. Anything that Kristen does is always beautiful. If you're not familiar with the Celebrations collection, I will link the last year's review that I did of it, and then the new one I'm going to share in a few days. Are there new products from Ali Edwards? I'm confused about what everything is. Sarah, I am not sure what you're referring to. I am not super up to date on all of her stuff because I know that I have more products than I need to last me for forever. So if I ever see like a sale or something new, I kind of just like immediately delete the email because I'm trying to resist that temptation. I currently get there's a monthly subscription of the months. And then there's also a monthly subscription that's like a generic story that's based on a theme, like friendship or love or habit or something like that. Like she picks like a word that's the theme. And there's those 2 subscription based products that you can get. I get the one that's like geared towards the month. And then she releases other random projects throughout the thing and throughout the year, and just different tools and things that you can use. But again, I try to like ignore all of them because I'm trying not to buy them. Although when like Week of Life and Day of Life rolls around, I probably will purchase those. Robin, when do you do next month's tending list? So I learned for me that I am better off doing it as late as possible. That's just what works best for me. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't start brainstorming now. I already have a running list of ideas for February. It's not actually written down on the tending list. It's just ideas. And then I try to do the last weekend before the end of the month. The hard part with that is I film mine. And so I have to do it in enough time to film it and get it up for you. But for me, I try to go until the last possible second. And that's when I actually decide what I'm going to do and write everything down. But I do start brainstorming ideas now. Everybody's different. I've heard some people, they like to start it earlier towards the end of the month. I think you just have to make sure that if you do want to start actually working on it earlier, you don't give up on January and you finish January strong. And then I also talked to somebody who literally does it the last day of the month, no matter what day of the week it is, because it really doesn't take that long. If you listen to the podcast is usually about 30 minutes. It doesn't take that long. And so you could do it on a weeknight. And so the person I talked to was like, I do it the last day of the month, no matter what the day of the week it is. I typically do it the last Friday or Saturday of the month. Oh my gosh. Favorite fashion from the inauguration today. So I mean, I loved the like gem tone colors. That is so my vibe, like that magenta and the teal. It's probably Dr. Biden. I love teal. I loved that she had a matching dress and jacket and gloves and mask, and she just looked fantastic. It went so well with like her complexion and her hair. She just looked so beautiful. And that was probably my number one, but let's be real, Michelle was a very close second. Bailey, has Sam started using the Moxie Life notebook system yet? If so, how does he like it? So he used the beginner notebook, whatever, where you do the actual assessment and you get your scores, and then he wrote down annual goals. I do not believe that he has started using the actual weekly layouts yet and doing any weekly goals. But again, we've had a lot going on the last few weeks and packing and trying to get home and get settled and within the new year. So he hasn't actually started using it yet. I think if you are going to use it alongside a different planner, what I would make sure that you do is when you write down those weekly action items, they go into your planner. And whether that's on a sticky note because you're using a daily and you want to make sure that you move it throughout the week, or you're actually writing it down. But if it goes on that weekly action item, it also needs to take up space in your actual planner as well. Now, and I believe that's true for him as well. He just uses a Google Cal. So, but if it goes on the weekly actions, it should go in whatever calendar system you're using. Oh, Mackenzie, I appreciate that so much. She's referencing the third tier of Patreon is texting with me. And so I love the people that I get to text. I was just texting somebody today. She's an incredible idea of a goal she's working on. I cannot share it because it is her personal thing, but it is such a cool idea. I just love it. Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh, yes, Lady Gaga's outfit was also amazing. She walked out though, and I texted my mom and I was like, the Mockingjay? Is she trying to be Katniss? Beautiful. Loved her outfit as well. Oh yeah, and the poet. Did y'all see her mask? Obviously, she didn't wear her mask when she read the poem, but then her mask, if you go to like her social media or other clips of her with her mask, it was like super sparkly and beautiful. Beautiful. How did you like doing your weekly and your Moxie Life and having your daily separate? So, Crystal, I don't know if you're referring to when I did last year, which was pre-plan in my weekly Moxie Life and then had my daily separate. For me, that felt super repetitive. It felt like it was just too much, especially because I had my Google Cal. So I don't know where you pre-plan, like when you have something that's future out in advance, but it felt way too repetitive for me to have my Google Cal, pre-plan on my Moxie, and then have my daily. It was just too many planners. But if that could work for someone. Just because it doesn't work for me doesn't mean it's not going to work for you, but that's how I felt. I am loving having my Moxie Life as a memory planner. And I'm sharing that in the vlogs. I will always flip through, and I'm also sharing it in the Moxie Life Facebook group. I've been loving that system. Oh, this is a good question, Robin. Where do you get ideas for your tending list? I think I need some more inspiration. So, couple things. One, when I set my goals at the beginning of the year, and then again when I pick my quarterly goals, I will brainstorm then, like ideas that I could use later in the quarter or later in the year. That could be any monthly, weekly, or daily items. I will brainstorm then, and then I always have that idea bank to go off of. I also love the Power Sheets Facebook group. I like to like click on people's tending lists and zoom in because I get ideas for those, like for my tending list from other people. Even the Patreon Facebook group, when people share their tending list, I'm like, oh, what's on there? And I can get ideas from that. And then the other one is just to step away from the monthly, weekly, daily mindset. Just try to put that out of your brain and just break down the goal without that mindset. What are the steps to achieving that goal? Or what are things you can do to work on that goal? And then once you have those steps and those thoughts, you can convert them into a monthly, weekly, or daily action step. I hope that helps. Yeah, she was amazing. Amazing. Did y'all see also that she is releasing a book of poetry in September? I'm so excited. So far, the only place that I've seen to pre-order it is Amazon. And I would like to support a smaller place. I'm also not allowed to buy books, y'all. So we'll see if I actually end up ordering it or if I wait and ask for it for Christmas. But she is releasing a book of poetry and I'm so excited. This is a good question, Hannah. I'm struggling with weekly action items. How do you schedule those in your week if your schedule changes often? So I think you do just that. You schedule them. You tentatively give them a time. And if they have to move, they have to move. But I'm trying to think of a good analogy for you because if you don't even attempt to schedule them, the likelihood that they're going to happen is slim to none. For me anyways, if I don't try to at least put them in my calendar, then they're definitely not going to happen. At least if I put them in my calendar, they have a better chance of actually getting done. And then if they have to move it, they have to move because life happens and things come up. But I at least gave them a time to begin with. And then over time, I think you just get maybe a little bit more realistic about how many goals you're setting weekly and monthly, because if you don't have time to fit them in your schedule, then it's too many goals and you need to take a step back from that. But that is just a key thing that I have learned, that like light bulb moment to actually achieving my goals is putting them in my planner. I feel you about the number of people at the inauguration today. I think they, with the exception of the close knit stage that they kept zooming in on, everybody else seemed to be in pairs of two, 6 feet apart. Everybody had a mask on except the person speaking. And if I had to guess, all those people that were close knit got tested before today. I don't know that for sure, but that would be my assumption. I love decorating my planner, but I need it more functional. Any tips? Yeah, I think, Crystal, maybe decorating a different part of your planner, your monthly layout, your notes pages, like having that decorative aspect be still an outlet for you, but in a different place than your actual planner. And maybe that's why you were thinking kind of that weekly daily, is your weekly would get to be decorative and then your daily would be super functional. My daily is also super functional. I mean, I don't use rarely any stickers in my daily. I just pen and that dot marker that changed my life is pretty much all I use. You could also try that retrospective memory keeping, because doing that really helps me get that creative aspect, and I feel like I'm getting to use all my stickers and be creative with that. Work from home advice. Yeah, so I think couple things. One, I feel like you have to do some form of getting ready. Like there has to be something that's different about what you wore to sleep and how you feel from the moment you get up until it's time to work. And that may not be a full face of makeup, it may not be doing your hair every day. And if you're like me, it's still sweatpants, but it's a different set of sweatpants. It's putting on a bra. It is the like feeling like I am actually ready for the day instead of just rolling out of bed. The other thing that I think is important is having like strict boundaries and trying not to spend time at whatever the place that you're working at is. Now that's tough for me because my desk is where I do my work from home and play on with Lake In. So sometimes that doesn't work out so well, but I try not to do as much as I can, not at that desk. If I can do something sitting on the bed or sitting on the couch and separate that workspace from the not workspace, that really helps me as well. The last tip I have is I used to use a weekly for work until I started working from home. And then I needed a daily because I needed really specific tasks that I was going to work on that day. And versus when I was in the office, I don't know, it flowed better. It was just easier to like figure out what I was going to do that day. And then sometimes it would be more likely to get thrown off because people all over the place and talking. Whereas at home, like I make a plan of my daily and I pretty much just stick to it. Ooh, this is a really great question. As a person who loves checking things off, how do you deal with not finishing big, broad goals in a month or a year, or open ended goals that might never be done? And this goes back to what I've said before, which is I don't think every goal has to be a SMART goal. I think that you can still make a lot of progress and still feel very satisfied if the goal is to spend more time doing things that make me happy, right? That's one of my goals this year, is to spend more time doing things that make me happy. That goal is very vague. And so, two ways that I feel content with those types of goals. One is instead of just giving myself a check or not, I give myself a rating. If you watched my 2020 recap video, both my quarterly goals and my yearly goals, I would give like, oh, I feel like did a 7 out of 10, or I feel like I was a 4 out of 10. And I give myself kind of a ranking out of 10, which makes, and then if you look at it as a whole, I still achieved a lot. Even though I didn't check any of those things off because they're not check offable goals, it still feels like progress. The other way is making sure all the action items are very specific. Your action items need to be something that you can easily check off. And then I can just look at all those. I can look at all of those check marks and realize that I did make a lot of progress on that goal, even if the overarching broad goal doesn't have a check mark. Hope that helps. Robin, my workout program is going great. I love it. I love her playlists are fire. Most of the workouts are 30 minutes, which is just so doable Monday through Friday. Like I can do 30 minutes in the morning before work starts, especially that it's cold and whatever. I did realize that like I don't know, if we do get to go back to a gym, maybe I will do them in the gym because that just gives me a better mindset. But for now, I'm just doing them at home and it's working. Ooh, I love this, Carla. Thank you for sharing. I had to really remind myself about the things I was saying no to because I said yes to way too many things that got in the way of me and my goals. Absolutely. Oh, awesome. Everyone on the stage was tested twice in the last 22 hours. I kind of assumed that, but I actually didn't know. Thanks for clarifying that for us. Ooh, you're in a planning funk and you haven't even set up your planner for the year. Any advice on getting there? So, first off, please do not feel like you have to have some amazing planner setup in order to start using your planner, because you don't. I know that there's all these YouTube videos and Instagram accounts that are like, look at all my notes pages and look at all my planner setup. You don't have to do any of that. Just turn to the page, turn to the week that we're on and start using it. And I think that keeping it simple at first, maybe it's just a pen or like one page of stickers that you absolutely love, but keeping it very simple just to get started is going to help you, as well as setting aside time every day to look at your planner or to write something in your planner. I think we sometimes forget to set aside time to plan. And so making sure that you're making that time to actually use your planner. Oh my gosh. Okay. I do not put on socks and shoes, Jessica. That is impressive. I'm very impressed. Yes, also a great tip. Some kind of getting ready morning routine, worked out, got ready, had breakfast. Super helps. Super helps. Yeah. Always comfy on the bottom. I don't do real pants. Good question. How often are you weighing yourself for your lose weight goal? Are you doing measurements or just weight? I can't find the right balance. So, Mackenzie, for me, I know that measurements have all kinds of benefits. I know that. But my perfectionism, I don't like saying I have perfectionist tendencies. And one of them is I feel like I'm never measuring in the same spot. I feel like no matter what, I'm not getting the exact same measurements that I got before. And so my measurements, I just never feel like they're accurate enough. So I just don't even bother. I'm not bothering with measurements. I am weighing myself every day, but that is because it's motivating for me. I am different. Everybody's different. And some people, including my nutrition coach, she only wants to see my weight once a week. So I weigh myself every day for me, but I only share those numbers with her once a week. Also, the other thing I've been loving is my fancy scale. So for Christmas, I asked for one of those fancy scales that measures all kinds of other stuff besides weight. Now, I'm not here to argue whether those numbers are accurate because I don't really care if the numbers are accurate. What is accurate is the delta between the numbers. So whether that body fat percentage that my scale is showing me is accurate or not, I don't really care. But what I can see is the change. And so over the past couple of weeks, I have seen body fat percentage go down, and I've seen water, how they measure that, I don't know, and muscle go up. And that is what I want to see. So again, just seeing the change that of those has motivated me so much. So that is how it works for me. Everybody is going to be different, whether you are motivated or not motivated by the number on the scale. I think it's going to be a personal preference. Crystal, yeah, so it's just an app. It's called Pick Frame. Like you can also use Pick Stitch. I've been having issues with Pick Stitch actually making them perfect squares though. So I switched over to Pick Frame because that's what Taylor from Tattoo Teacher Plans uses. And all you do is you put your photos in the grid and then you send it to the drugstore and they print it in a square for you. It's pretty awesome. Hi, Christopher. I am so excited for this question. I have some large goals for this year and I'm doing monthly check-ins. Yay. But I'm finding that is not enough. How do you actually schedule goals into your planner? So my monthly check-ins is just what I share on the internet. I am definitely checking in with my goals every single day. My power sheets sit on my desk. I have a little plastic thing where they sit on my desk and I can see them at all times when I am sitting at my desk, and I update them every single day. I update my daily section. Now, you don't necessarily need to update your daily section every single day, but I think finding a routine that works for you, and if monthly isn't enough, maybe it's weekly, and you start with that until you figure out what works for you. My very first year using Power Sheets, one of my goals was to use my Power Sheets. And so with that, I found a rhythm that worked for me and checking in with them. And then in terms of scheduling them, I will do a loose schedule at the beginning of the month. So I sit down with my Google Cal and I take all the monthly items and I put them somewhere in my Google Cal for the month. I take the weekly items and I put them somewhere in the week. And then the daily items, if it is something that's a significant amount of time, I will also put the daily items in my Google Cal. Most of the time, my daily items are really small. And so they kind of just fit in with some other routine. And then now they're in my Google Cal, and then they go from my Google Cal to my daily planner. And sometimes they have to get moved around and sometimes things come up, but I am way more likely to I'm more likely to get them done if they're actually in my calendar. Whereas if I don't put them in my calendar, they'll never get done. That's a great tip. If you're in a planner funk, maybe follow someone on YouTube or Instagram who has a similar planning style and then copy that layout or take time to plan with them. I think on the flip side, you could also argue that maybe stepping away from Instagram or YouTube for a second and not comparing your planning style to all those things that people see. I just watched a video today. Somebody that I follow, her name is Sunny Leonarduzzi. If you are interested in running a business of any kind, I highly recommend you follow her YouTube channel. And she posted a video today about, oh, we lost our light. Hang on. This is what I get for plugging it into the external charger instead of into the computer. All right. Well, this is what live is all about. Anyway, so Sunny posted a video, I think it was today, about how all we see for anything, entrepreneurship, anything, is the highlight reel. And all we see are the good things and the exciting things and this, that, and the other. And the same thing is true with planning and Instagram in general. So if you are feeling like you're behind or your planning style isn't working or all of those things, it might just be that you are feeling the comparison trap with everybody else that you follow. And I would maybe consider taking a break. Heather, great point. I also am taking progress photos. Yeah, I haven't decided if I'm going to do them weekly or monthly. Right now, I'm just starting with monthly. So I took some when I first started, and I'll take some at the end of January. But yeah, progress photos for sure. In Cook Once, Eat All Week, do you pick meals by the week number or what kind of, I think you mean protein? You've been doing it based on the ingredients. So, Jessica, when I first started it, I started from the beginning and tried to go in order. And then we went to Texas. And so then I was picky based on what the ingredients were. And I was trying to pick ones that were less work in the kitchen prep wise. We are starting back up next week. I think I'm just going to go back to the beginning and start with week 1. I will still skip some weeks that have ingredients that aren't like, I don't really like tomatoes. So if a tomato's in a recipe, it's fine. If it's a main ingredient, it's not for me. So I'm going to skip some weeks, and then some of them that have meats that are like a little bit more expensive, I'm going to skip those. So I think I'm going to start back at week 1 and go in order, but I know lots of people who will just jump around and pick. And then also, but again, you could do that. You could pick based on ingredients. You could pick based on protein, what's on sale at your grocery store that week, and make that your protein. Or you can pick based on prep time. There are some weeks where the prep is so much less than others. One of my favorite weeks is week 19, and the prep is literally the oven and the crock pot, and it is the easiest prep week. So if you know that your Sunday is going to be crazy, pick a week that's got a lot less prep work. Ooh, Rachel, when do you try to tackle your one little word project lesson within the month? Honestly, I only did it 3 months last year of all the months. So I don't really have a set plan. I think I would probably like to do it towards the beginning, but honestly, I haven't done January's yet because we just got home and all my stuff was here. So this month it'll be much later than normal. And in the future months, I'll try to do it a little bit sooner. But honestly, I don't think it really matters in the grand scheme of things, except the one that's a habit. One of them is like you do something every day related to your word. And that one, like you kind of have to do at the beginning. Ooh, great question. Recommendations on monetizing your YouTube channel. You just started last month and you've been very consistent, but not much growth. So there's 2 facets, if you don't know, for everyone listening or watching, to monetizing your YouTube channel. There is subscribers and then there's hours watched. And you have to have both of them in order to get monetized. So I did a video all about YouTube tips where I talked about some ideas to grow both of those. But at the end of the day, subscribers are, ask them. Don't forget to ask them, hey, can you click that subscribe button? Hey, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. Sometimes people just don't know how YouTube works, or they forget and they don't think to click that subscribe button because you're always popping up in their recommended videos. So they don't feel the need to subscribe, or they think that they're subscribed. So make sure that you're asking them to do that. And then the other way to grow subscribers is by posting videos that get a lot of search traffic. So figuring out what videos people are searching and then doing videos around that same topic. As far as watch hours, it's about getting people to watch more of your videos. Now, one of the easy ways is to post longer videos. You're going to have more watch hours. Going live gets you a lot of watch hours. And then seeing where people drop off. You can go into your analytics and you can see where people are clicking out of your video and see if there's something that you notice, a trend or a reason that they might be dropping off, and see if you can fix that. For example, I used to find in Plan With Me's where I would do sped up sections, I would lose people at those spots. So I stopped doing sped up with music because people would drop off. Ooh, daily planner recommendations. So I personally love my plum paper planner, and that is because it has a coil and it has a small size. I like the A5 size, and I like the coil, and I like the paper quality. Plum paper is not my favorite paper of all times, but in this realm of like daily planners, it's fantastic. I love the Amplify planner that I'm using for work. It's a little big, but if you want a big planner that's not leaving your house, I think that's a really great option as well. Claire, I have not changed any of the planners in my stack, but my 2021 content planner still has not arrived. So for January, I used the printables that she provided, but it's just not the same. And I'm really frustrated. And I know that it's out of her control, and like it's given everything that's going on that her shipment was delayed and she had to reprint them. But like, I just want my content planner. But no, other than that, I haven't changed anything about my planner stack. Oof. How do you have peace with your free rest time instead of a full calendar, or is it a no brainer? Isabella, it is not a no brainer. And this is something that I've had to work on and learn. And here I explained this way. I explained it this way to somebody else recently, and I think that it's helpful. So I think, at least for me, and just keep in mind, I have no kids, right? So for me, my time is split up into 4 different sections. So there's work, which is my 9 to 5 job. There's goals, the time that I spend working on my goals, and that's like working out and all like working on my goals. And then there's life, which I consider like social things. So hanging out with friends, traveling, etc. And then there's rest and self-care. And that is like doing nothing, free time, rest time. For the longest time, I had very little rest. And it was all work, goals, and life. And that is how I filled my calendar. And I worked a lot and I between all of those things. Then 2020 came along and it took out the life part because there was no social events. Yeah, we did Zoom birthdays and yeah, we tried, but it was not anything like it was before everything shut down. So then all of a sudden, all the things that were my life things got replaced with rest. And I was forced to rest because I could have filled it up with goals, and trust me, I tried some months, but I also rested a lot in that space that used to be filled with social commitments. And I realized how much I needed it and how much it helped me overall accomplish more things. Because when I'm rested and rejuvenated, I am more successful in all those other areas of life. And so now I realized we're still, let's be real, we're still not doing anything social. Right now, we're definitely not because we are self isolating for 10 days, 2 weeks. I can't keep up with what the rules are right now, almost 2 weeks now that we're home. And then we are going to see a set of friends. We're going to get in a pod with another couple. And so we will have some social things with them, but social is still a pretty small part. But what I have to learn is as I go on, I need to make sure that I'm balanced between all 4 of those. Now, they're not all equally balanced, right? It's not 25, 25, 25, 25 because work is a big chunk of my time, but that is what I keep in mind. I hope that was helpful. Yeah, Rachel, we can talk about this a little bit more on the side if you want, but it is too early. All the apartments listed right now are available immediately. So if I reached out and said I want a March 31st lease, they would laugh at me. Ooh, I did not know they had pre-shredded from Costco. Costco's far right now when I can't take the subway. So, oh my gosh, you have a spreadsheet. I see your other. That is amazing. I love that, Heather. If you want to share that with us, we would love to also see that. I know somebody else, Rebecca, if you're watching replay, I haven't seen you in the comments. You also have a spreadsheet. We need to combine those and make one like epic spreadsheet. Yeah, Jessica, that's my other intention of starting from the beginning is I want to write notes in the book about how much prep time, how long it takes me. Ooh, am I doing the folio or the binder? I'm doing the binder for one little word. And my most important memory keeping projects, honestly, I'm kind of behind. And I'm still working through my memory keeping style and figuring out what works for me. So far, December Daily has been an absolute go-to for me. I love the monthly kits for documenting the big things that I take more than one picture at. I don't know if I'm going to do week and day in the life this year because I don't feel like they did much for me last year, but also last year was weird and different. So maybe not. But I also feel like the vlog captures my week and my day in the life a lot. So do I actually need to do that in a memory keeping style? I don't know. Oh my gosh. How do you get Sam to eat vegetables? He likes vegetables way more than me. If we're getting anybody to eat vegetables, it's me. I'm the one that doesn't like vegetables. Oh, how am I being back in New York? Christopher, it's a love-hate relationship. I'm very happy to be back. We're happy to be back in our own space and in control of our lives. Like it's all ours and it's all us. But it's small and it's small. So we are very excited to move and have more space. Yes, and I also miss Broadway. I'm ready for Broadway to be back. I'm ready for New York to feel like New York again. I walked the other day to the library to drop off all the books that I had taken with me to Chicago, and like every other storefront was closed. And it was just so sad to see. Just so hard. How do you find planner peace? So I have said before that I do think planner peace exists, but it exists temporarily. And because our lives change so frequently, and there are times that our lives are going to change and the planner is going to work, and then there's times that it wouldn't. So if you were struggling, I would take a look at the planner and try to be very specific about why you don't love it. Why is that planner not bringing you peace? And see if you can either change something about your planning style within that planner to make it work for you, or now you know specifically what you're looking for to figure out another planner to try. Melissa, I was trying to finish my power sheets and you're feeling overwhelmed. So, my biggest tip if you're feeling overwhelmed, I'm assuming you're talking about the prep work since we're still pretty early in the year. You do not have to write that much on every page. Try to answer each question with one thing and then you can move on. You can always come back and add more if you think of more things later, but do not feel like you have to put more than one thing on the page. Set a timer, 2 minutes, 5 minutes for each page, and then move on and just try to like work through it that way. Put on a really good playlist. Just try not to worry about your handwriting being perfect. I struggle with that, but eventually you just have to let it go and you just have to start writing. That's my biggest tip. Try to find some uninterrupted time to like sit there and set timers and just work through it. Do you break down work goals like you break down personal goals? Alexis, no, because my work goals are very different. My work goals are a lot more, um, I guess I could. My work goals are a lot more vague, but I could come up with really specific action items, I guess, to work on them. Um, I don't right now. And my work goal is a different system. We do like, I almost want to call it a trimester because we check in 3 times a year. It's very weird. So it's so different than my personal goals. Oh, well, welcome to your first live. I'm so excited that you're here. For my 9 to 5, I work for a large insurance company. I do product development. I'm a product manager at the insurance company here in New York. A color coding system. I'm assuming you're still talking about cook once, eat all week. You guys. Uh, Mackenzie, this is a great question. The price difference stops you. Yeah, the price difference between the spiral version, by the way, we're talking about a cookbook that I'm obsessed with and I've talked about before. It's called Cook Once, Eat All Week. It's linked in my Amazon down below. It's fantastic. I splurged for the spiral version, but that's because I used the bound version for months because I rented it from the library and I got frustrated so much with the bound version that I just couldn't deal with it anymore. And that's why I bought the spiral one. The price has gone up, by the way, on the spiral one because my mom went to order it the other day and was like, whoa, that's a lot. So I don't know. And I don't know how much Staples would charge you and if it would just be easier just to order it. That's hilarious. I have an actuarial background and I can very much attest that men have a shorter lifespan than women and that he does need to eat healthy. Oh, Christopher. For 1 or 2 of my goals, I am wondering if I actually want to do them or if I feel like I have to because everybody else does. Yes, you do not have to read or do a morning routine or any of the things that everybody else is doing just because it's one of their goals. The question I would advise you to ask yourself is, why is this goal important to you? How is it helping one of your other goals? So those to me, morning routines and reading, maybe morning routines not as much, are very specific actions that fall under a bigger goal. So are you plugging it under a big goal? And if so, is that task actually really helping you achieve that other goal? And if it's not, then no, then don't do it. If it's a goal on its own, you just have to keep asking yourself why, but why, but why, until you find a reason that that goal is really important to you and how it's going to help you achieve your other goals and achieve all the things that you want to achieve in your life. And if it's not, then don't do it. So for reading, I think the benefit to reading, there's 2 for me. One is knowledge. Guess what? You get knowledge in a lot of other places. You can take a course, you can watch podcasts, you can watch a YouTube video. There are a lot of other ways to get knowledge besides reading. And then for me, it's also relaxing. Reading a fiction book is relaxing and it gets me away from my screen. It's a relaxing thing that's not watching Netflix. Guess what? You could do that with another task. You don't have to relax without a screen and read, that you could do that in another way. A morning routine. For me, that's because I have the most energy in the morning. And so I want to take advantage of that and do a bunch of other things before I actually start working my 9 to 5 job. If you're not a morning person, screw the morning routine. If there's anything that you were doing in your morning routine that you still want to do, any tasks, do them at another time in the day when you have more energy and you're more excited. So I think just those kinds of thoughts, like, why is this important to me? How is it helping me achieve my other goals and things that I want to accomplish in my life? Bailey, that's so sweet. Oh my gosh, that makes me so happy. Great question, Jennifer. How do you budget for planning supplies? So for me, now it's actually a business expense, but before it was a business expense. It's a sinking fund for me. So if you don't know what a sinking fund is, it's a Dave Ramsey concept. I'm not saying I believe in everything that Dave Ramsey talks about, because I don't. But sinking funds really helped me figure some things out financially. And Jen Dufour from Jen Plans has a great video explaining those that I will link in the description after this video is over. That explains how they work. But for me, that is where planner supplies came in. So I decided I would allow myself X amount per month on planner supplies, and I would take that amount and put it into another account. I would keep all my sinking funds together and I keep it broken down on a spreadsheet. And then as the year goes on, when I spend, I take it out of that sinking fund account. And if one month I spend less, then it just carries over and the next month I can spend more. It's not like if I don't spend it, then I lose it. Like, that money is still there, but I know how much is in that sinking fund bucket and I can't go over that. And then if there's something that I know coming later in the year, like I want to save up for Black Friday, then I will spend less the couple months leading up to Black Friday. I still kind of do it the same way, but because it's a business expense, it's a little bit easier to justify sometimes, but that is how I operated before. Ooh, I think I'm all caught up. All right. Any other questions that you guys have on goals, planners, cooking? Like, what have we all we talked about tonight? That Cook Once Eat All Week cookbook, y'all. It's life changing. Life changing. I'm excited, actually super excited to dig back into it. We didn't this week because we got home super late Sunday and there wasn't going to be time to meal prep, but it's going down on Sunday. It's going down. Also, tip on that cookbook, please cut corners. Okay. When they're like, you buy carrots and you spiral them yourself, like, no, 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 no. I'm going to buy spiraled carrots. Turning cauliflower into mashed potatoes, I'm going to buy pre-mashed cauliflower. I always try to make it a little bit easier on myself and make the prep even a little bit less, because that's like a couple dollars and it's going to save me so much time and so much headache, especially because I have a very small kitchen with very few utensils, like very like tools. I don't have a lot of amazing kitchen gadgets. Oh, oh, Heather, this was in my saved questions. I didn't get to any of the saved questions because you guys have been asking all kinds of great questions. So, YouTube people that I love, I have found that I am not motivated doing workouts on YouTube. It just does not do it for me. I either need it to be live or I need to be paying for it. That's just for me, that's just how it works. My nutrition coach does do YouTube workouts. I will link her channel. It's Justina Ercole, Ercole. And she's got I love her style and she's got lots of workouts on YouTube. I have a love-hate relationship with MK Fit, EMKFIT. Her playlists are fire, but as somebody who danced previously, I get very bored in her dance workouts. It's just too repetitive for me. But if you like to dance, but you're not a dancer, I think that you would really like her channel. And then I'm trying to think, the name now is blanking me. The one person I did at the very beginning of quarantine. I will link it below and let you know because I can't remember. Cook Once, Eat All Week. That's the cookbook. It's linked in my Amazon store. Ooh, what type of hatch do you have? So, Michelle, I have the Restore, which is the bigger one. The smaller one supposedly is made for babies and the bigger one's for adults. I don't know about the bigger one. I have started back using it. the last couple of nights, I got a 100 on my sleep last night. That actually goes, somebody asked that question. One of the questions that I had said was, what tools do I use to track my sleep? And I use my Apple Watch. So what I will do is, my Apple Watch right now is at 33%. I will charge it after we eat dinner, and when we're just kind of, whether I'm sitting on the couch watching TV or not, or whether I'm doing other things, that's when my watch goes on the charger. And so then it's at full capacity when I go to bed. And then I use an app called Auto Sleep, and I got a 100 last night. So I love my Hatch. Right now, I am still on the subscription because it is free. You get 6 months free with your purchase. So I have until March something, and then it will switch. I think I'm going to not get it right away and see if I can recreate my routine with the free options to the best, like as much as I can, because the meditation's not the most important part for me. And that it feels like that, and the sounds aren't the most important part for me either. And it feels like those are the things that you get with the paid version. And I just don't feel like that's necessary. So I'm still using it because it's free. But once it goes away, I think I'm going to stop with the subscription. My favorite fiction book of all time is Harry Potter. Last year, my favorite fiction book was the Wedding Date series from Jasmine Glory. We talked about that last week. Kelly, this is a great question. Do you read mostly physical books or ebooks too? I much prefer a physical book. There's something about a physical book, and I buy a lot of books, clearly. And I do have a Kindle. I really only read ebooks when I'm traveling and I can't take all of the books with me. So that's when I will use my Kindle. However, that said, I am not buying books. So I'm still going to rent things from the library. But if I get to a point where I want to read a book and I can't rent it from the library, well, I can't rent the physical one. I'll rent the ebook from the library, and then I might read it on my Kindle. But most of the time I stick with a physical book. Purchasing a Hatch was the best decision you've made. It is amazing. It definitely lives up to the hype for me. I love it. How do you feel about celebrity autobiographies? So it depends on the person. I loved Michelle Obama's book. Loved. I could not get into Lauren Graham's book, and I love her. I love Gilmore Girls, and I mean, I've loved watching her and Zoe's, but I could not get into her autobiography. I'm trying to, there was another one I feel like I read recently, and then I got Barack Obama's for Christmas, and I'm really excited to dig into that one. I think it's an autobiography. I know he wrote it, but I think it's an autobiography. I don't think he's talking about something else. But I think it depends. For me, I think it needs to have more substance than just like, here's my life. And not that Lauren Graham doesn't have an exciting life, because she talks about her experience on Broadway and auditioning and all these things, but I just couldn't get into it. I don't know what it was. So I think it just depends on the celebrity for me. I have a goal to read both fiction and nonfiction. How do you avoid skipping reading when other things pull your attention? I want to read, but seem to be skimping, cutting out time all the time. Lynn, my best tip for you is to set aside time that you're going to read and start with a really small amount of time. So it's really easy for us to be like, well, I need a good 30 minutes at least to sit a stretch of time to sit and read. But the truth is that finding 30-minute stretch is difficult, especially given I don't know what you have going on in your life. So start with 5 minutes a day. And the truth is that even if you only read 5 minutes a day, you will read a significant amount of books this year. If you read 5 minutes every single day, that's a lot of minutes. So start with just 5 minutes a day. The other tip I have for you is to do it at a time when things are less likely to pop up, right? If I tried to read a book like during my lunch hour, it is so much easier for me to be like, oh no, I should do this work project instead, or oh, I should actually just like relax and eat my lunch, or oh, I should just something else. Whereas I read twice a day. I read my nonfiction in the morning as part of my morning routine. And I mean, nobody's up at 5 a.m., so nobody is bothering me, and it's just me and my book. And then I read fiction at night before I go to bed. And same thing, like at the end of the day, put my phone away from me, like not even near me. My phone is in the kitchen and I'm in the bedroom with my book, and that is my reading time. But until you can build that up, start with 5 minutes a day. Sherry, the Hatch is an alarm clock sound machine, nighttime routine, magical tool that I absolutely love. I'm pretty sure it's linked to my Amazon shop. If it's not, I will make sure that it is after I'm done. It is amazing. Heather, I I think it depends on the relationship you had with your mom. And so, like, for me, I watched Gilmore Girls when it was on however many years ago. And I watched it with my mom, and we are very similar to Lorelai and Marie. And so that really helps. I had a friend rewatch it recently through a 30 something, eyes wide open to feminist issues glasses. And she had a very different experience. And she actually complained about a lot of things in the show that I just didn't think of because when I was 15, it just didn't phase me. And now she struggled with it. I would say give it a try, give it a couple episodes. And if you like it, great. If not, oh well. Tips to drink more water. Yeah, Christopher, this is an important one. So, first off, figure out what kind of water you like and always make sure your water is that. So, what temperature do you like your water at? Do you like flavors? Do you like bubbles? All of that counts, by the way. If you add flavors or bubbles to your water, it's still water. So, figure out what kind of water you like and always make sure that it's in that regard. And then just start with a small goal. So, if you are currently only drinking 1 glass of water, your new goal is 2 glasses. And check that off, have a place to track it, and work on those 2 glasses until you consistently are doing it. Then up it to 3. And now your goal is to drink 3 glasses and keep doing that until you get to a point that you feel good about how much water you're drinking. Crystal, what is the best way to get started with the morning basket and morning pages? Man, oh man, that morning basket thing blew up. I almost said threw up. It blew up. I started using one in the summer because I wanted it to be easy to carry around at my dad's beach house, not anything. That was it. Like that's why I started using it and then I ended up really loving it. All it is just a bucket with all the things that you use in the morning. So mine happens to have a lot of stuff because my morning routine has a lot of steps because I'm a morning person. If you don't do a lot of things in the morning, you don't need a morning basket. If you like just I feel like it has turned into this thing that everyone feels like they have to, and if you do have a morning routine with a lot of stuff, then this is very helpful. But don't feel like you have to have all these things every morning to hit all your goals. Morning pages are a different thing. Very similar to Cindy, I do morning 3/4 of a page. Cindy does morning paragraph, which I love that she calls it that. I do morning, and it's 3/4 of this page. So this is my notebook. I'm not going to show you my morning pages because things come out that I don't need to share with other people. But normally what I do is I do my affirmation, and then sometimes your morning basket falls on the ground. So I do my affirmations on the first 6 rows, and then I skip a line, and then my morning pages are usually about this much. All I do is just write whatever comes to my mind. I just get it all out of my head. Sometimes it's happy, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's just my hand hurts and I don't want to write anymore. But that's what I do. Whew. Tracy, what do you mean when you say set aside time to work on your goals? For example, if a goal is to lose weight, how do you set aside time? So you set aside time for the action steps. So if the goal is to lose weight, well, what are the action steps that you are working on to lose weight? So for me, it's working with my nutrition coach. So I put that time. Organizing my recipes, I put that in my calendar. Tracking my food, I put that in my calendar. You schedule the action steps that are related to your goals. Oh, I prefer the original run. I have a lot of things I don't like about Year in the Life. Oh, yes, and that. Straw, no straw. Temperature, bubbles, flavor, straw. How do you like your water? Yeah, no, we don't usually go to bed at the same time. I usually go to bed first with my PM routine and my hatch, and he comes to bed when he's ready to come to bed. He also doesn't get up as early. Awesome. Whew. Yeah, we've got press briefings. We've got all kinds of things. I got to get to making dinner. So before we head out, let me know what is the one thing that you are going to do this week to make progress on your goals. What is the one thing? Are you going to drink 1 more glass of water? Are you going to screw reading and morning routines because everybody else is doing them? What is the one thing you're going to do this week to work on your goals? Let me know in the comments. First things first, I'm going to pick up my morning routine basket because that's all over the floor. Oh, here we go. Drink 3 glasses of water. Yeah, start with that. Get a work daily planner. I've been using my Amplify planner. Oh, gather your tax documents. Oh, I don't want to put that on a list, but it's coming. It's coming very soon. Midterm paper. Congrats. A passport application. I hope we can travel soon. Your monthly action items. Catching up on reading. Doing your morning routine, even if it's not in the morning. I love that, Kelly. Yes, Bailey, your drawing challenge has been amazing. Find a planner. Find a planner that works for you. Answer 1 question. That's it, Melissa. Just do 1 question. Random subscriptions. Yes. Oh, going sledding, Katie. That's so fun. Oh my gosh, you guys. So many great action steps. Y'all, just achieving your goals is 1 small action step at a time. That's all it is. 1 small action step at a time. So before you head out, if you wouldn't mind giving this video a quick thumbs up before you leave. And if you are new here, click that subscribe button. I do upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, helping you achieve your goals. Thank you so much for watching. Happy planning.